Hey, we're back. Another episode of the Moto Academy podcast. Clearly, obviously, the number one podcast in motocross. Also, this episode is sponsored by drinklmnt.com/AJCat330. Kenny C18's trying the
delicious
the cans for the first time. What do you rate it out of 10?
Out of 10?
Are you a carbonation type of guy? Like, do you drink soda or anything carbonated?
I'll drink
seltzers.
The crappy Red Bulls.
Disgusting.
Yep.
Okay. So I think they're pretty good.
Out of 10, I'll give it a 7.
A very honest answer. I like it. What do you rate the do you drink the packets?
Nah, I haven't tried it.
Oh, you don't? What?
I haven't tried it.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Well, he's fired. Kenny C18.
Fired before I'm hired.
He's in the app. How long have you been in the app for?
Since December of 22.
Okay.
So I got my friend Ty.
December
you know
of
Ty.
22. So that wasn't...
It was around Jet and Hunter.
This last December. It was the December before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now my friend Ty Reynolds, he's been doing your classes forever.
Was he the one that convinced you?
So yeah, so I always knew that he was like, you guys were involved and he would take lessons from you, and he would always say to me, he's like, yeah, join it, like it's worth it, join it, it's worth it. And I was always like, I'll ride and figure it out myself.
Yeah.
And then one day I just caved. I think it was because of the Jet and Hunter thing.
Yeah. And been a subscriber ever since.
Yeah.
And then at what point did I first meet you in person? Was it a while after that?
Yeah, I think it was no, it wasn't the October class. It was at Bro MX.
It was at Bro MX?
Yeah.
For a class?
Yeah, but I think it was in 2023.
Was it just me?
No. That day, Coach James was there.
Okay.
Cameraman Cam was there.
Okay.
I think that might have been in June. Might have been about a year ago.
And that was your first class, first time you met me?
Yeah.
Was that your first class? Actually, I don't want to ask too many of those questions before. I got to preface this shirt, for God's sakes. Southwick Nationals this weekend?
Shout out.
2000, what year does this say?
93.
Ooh, year I was born. That's
93
right.
till infinity.
93. Pretty much that was the last year I raced. This was the last year I raced Supercross and outdoors, 93.
Yeah.
Yeah. Southwick National this weekend. I'm not going. You're going?
I'm going. I'll be there all day.
I live 30 minutes away and I'm not going. If that tells you how uncool I am.
Yeah.
Whoopsie daisy. But I figured my dad gave me this. He found it in his house. Kind of a T-neck.
Looks hot.
I'm sure I'm going to get completely roasted and or will I get roasted, or is this what the cool kids wear nowadays?
Vintage is kind of
coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
93.
That's what I thought. I knew that. What the heck was I going to ask you? That was your first time you met me. Was that your first class ever?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
I had before I had done a class, I already fixed my footwork. Like I had
How did you know to fix your footwork?
In the app. Shout out. I would be in the app all the time, and I'd listen to you saying one thing at a time. So I was like, okay, what's not the worst, but where do you start? You know, where you connected to the bike. I'm like, okay, well, let's not worry about anything else. Let's just do my feet.
Okay.
So I rode in 2022 during the summer before I joined. I rode pretty much every day after work on my dad's YZ250F at this sand pit in Oxford. And I would ride literally every day after work. And I would go and I would hit different loops. Like, it's all whooped out. Everybody that I've brought there said they hate it.
It's good practice, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'd ride there all the time. And I never really got that sketchy in there, but I never felt comfortable. And like I kind of felt like I was just riding to ride. No intention.
But it wasn't too difficult to apply technique, because sometimes sand pits are so nasty that it's like you're just trying to go in there to survive, but you were able to work on things.
Yeah. Like I said, I saw in the app, I was like, I'll start with my footwork, and then it honestly didn't take me as long as I thought, but now, especially now, like my footwork it's second nature. I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So
if you think about it, what year are we in now? 24?
Something like that. It's
been less than 2 years. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
To fix the most important part about riding, that's pretty darn good. Have I seen videos of you riding before you joined the app, period?
I don't think so.
Was it ugly, or was it not bad?
It wasn't that bad. I looked a lot like, no offense, Levi Kitchen.
So reversing back pre-Moto Academy. Well, first, let's back up more than that. How old are you?
19. I was I would have been 17 when I joined the app.
Okay. When did you start riding?
So I started riding when I was like 4.
Okay.
My dad got me one of those little electric razors with the number 4 on it, like the Ricky Carmichael.
Oh my God.
Razor.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was on electric bikes before electric bikes were cool.
Yeah.
So
You were living in the future.
Literally.
I respect that.
Literally.
Okay.
So yeah. So I
What
had
type
that.
of power do those things have? Horrible?
Horrible.
What
It's
type of
like,
suspension? Zero?
I think it was a fixed shock.
Yeah.
I assume.
Nice.
There's a video on YouTube of me doing like drifts outside in my backyard.
So that was at 4 years old.
That was 4 or 5. Yeah. I got
Okay.
that bike for Christmas.
That's a respectable first bike.
Yeah.
Then what?
And then I got a 50, CRF 50, and I had never gone on a track until 21 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Until 21?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 2021.
Right.
I would ride, like I enjoyed riding, but I never like got into it. I always paid attention to the sport, like AMA and stuff like that. I've been a huge fan. I've been going to Southwick since I was a little kid. Like the motocross is my childhood watching it, but I was never involved in it. Like I always just did, you know where Thompson Dam is?
Yeah.
I would always go there. We would go there once or twice a year maybe.
Okay.
And I would be terrified the whole time because my dad would be like, yeah, let's go ride. And I'd be like, okay. And I would be
Wow, all right.
terrified.
Wait, so how did you get the bike in the first place then? Your dad got it for you because he rode?
Yeah, my dad rode since he was, I don't know, 20 something.
Okay.
So he always brags about his old YZ125 he had. It never blew up. Best bike.
Allie's dad always talks about the YZ125 that he used to have.
Yeah, the old ones
That's
are
funny.
like we're talking about vintage.
So he got you the first bike, then you upgraded to CRF 50.
To the 50. And
Solid.
then I got a 70,
Okay.
CRF 70 that I still have.
Nice.
I still do wheelies.
That's a good bike to learn on.
I still do wheelies around the yard on that thing. And one day I came home from school and my dad was working on the bike outside, and I went outside to look and it looked bigger. This is when he got the 70.
Uh-huh.
It looked bigger. I was like, is that a different bike? And he was like, no, same bike. And I was like, that's a different bike, dude.
Oh no way!
And
So
then-
you were so young, you couldn't even barely tell looking at the
Yeah.
thing?
And then he was like, just sit on it if you're scared. I was, like I said, I was terrified of riding, and I sat on it. I was like, all right, maybe I'll just start it. Maybe I'll just turn it on and hear what it sounds like. And then I was like, all right, maybe I'll take it for a lap. And I started liking it. And then
What made you so afraid, I wonder?
I don't know. It was loud. I remember I would get scared of,
Because you were used to the electric one at first, so then when
Yeah.
you got one that made noise, maybe it just scared you. But did your dad still continue to ride at that point?
yeah, my dad never stopped. He still
Okay.
rides.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
So you would hear his bike?
He's got, and like I said, he's got that loud YZ250F. It's a 2001 he had for a while.
So he still rides now? How old is he? No idea.
53?
Okay, that's
I'm
young.
going to take a guess.
That's just a total shot in the dark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
solid.
he's a little
What year
younger
was
than
he
my
born?
mom. 69.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to try to do that math.
that's 50. That's 55.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's old.
That's pretty young,
Yeah. And
My-
let me tell you, when we
think my
started
dad's
going to
almost
the
70.
track. Oh, really?
I think.
Yeah.
I always guess his age wrong and he gets mad because I said he was 70. He's like, I'm not 70, I'm 68. But I think that was
2 years ago.
maybe.
Yeah.
Could have been 2 months ago, but yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, when me and my dad started going to the track, I brought him. He was faster than me on the track for a while. And then, like I said, when I joined the Moto Academy, my footwork got comfortable and I started understanding where that line of where I can and can't push is. And now
Just blow him out of the
blow
water.
him out of the water.
So 2022 was the year that basically
Yeah, that's
you
when
started-
that's when it clicked, I would say.
started getting faster than him.
Yeah.
So we're 4 years old on the electric bike. We then progressed to the CR50, then the 70.
Yeah.
Then what?
Oh, actually, back
Did you
to that
still
70.
continue to ride all the way through like 10, 11, 12 teenage years?
Yeah. I had bikes. I'm gonna jump back to that 70. We're jumping all over the place here.
Okay.
That 70. One day I came home from school again, and there's a clutch on the bike. My dad just installed a clutch
What? On the same bike?
on the same bike. 70. I have no clue how he did it. It's like an aftermarket clutch.
Wow.
It's
And
got
a
a lever.
functional clutch.
Yeah.
Clutch.
Yeah, and it still has that on there. I don't know how I don't know how he did it. It's the same bike.
What a great way to practice, though. To go from the same exact bike that you're comfortable just automatic to then trying to learn the clutch on.
Right.
That's cool.
So after
Do you remember how that went? Trying to learn the clutch day one?
I didn't have much of a problem with it.
Oh, I think I did.
Really?
I just have a memory of my dad like running out of patience.
Yeah.
Could have been second try.
Yeah.
With my dad, how impatient he is. But to me, I have the memory of it taking a little while to learn and figure it out. I think I was so nervous because he was right there like yelling at me to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. When do clutches start for two? I'm assuming you went
I would have learned on a
65.
I would have learned on a KX65, which is a hard bike to learn that on, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, Shake and Blake's just learned on his KTM 65.
Yeah.
It's fast.
That
It's intimidating.
Gas. Yeah.
Is it a gas?
No. That's Bog. Shout out. So many minis in the app.
Mm-hmm. A lot of little guys in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get the clutch. It goes smoothly.
Yeah, I didn't have much of a problem.
Did you ever want to be a pro?
No, I never thought about
I
didn't think about that until maybe last year when I learned that. Was it Coach James that never rode a bike until he was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Mitchell, I think, has the same story where they both kind of started pretty darn late.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell has that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did my first.
Wrong. Sorry, Mitchell, if I'm wrong, but James definitely that was his story.
Yeah, I did my first race. It was my first race. My first motocross race ever was Southwick, and it was on
same.
It was on my dad's 250F, and I raced the 250C class, and there was 45
people. Had you ever
people.
ridden there before you showed up to then race there?
I rode there 2 or 3 times before.
Okay, that's good.
I love that track.
Oh, good.
I love how hard
Me
it
too.
is.
I used to hate it.
Yeah, I could understand that. Most people do hate it.
Well, imagine the first time I show up and I'm on 50, I'm crashing every 10 feet. My dad's he's running on foot around the track to pick me up because I'm crashing that much. So that was like my first experience with it.
So you'd be quicker just running around the track.
Totally.
Yeah.
Way quicker.
You know what's funny is now I raced that race on my dad's 250F, and then this year before, I blew up my 125, I raced my dad's 250F. That was before we got the Stark. Wait, no, that's not right. We had the Stark.
You raced the Stark there too, right?
Yeah. The first 2 rounds of NESC were Southwick. So I raced the first 2 rounds. The first round was on that 250F, and I came home and said to my dad, I said, Dad, respectfully, I would rather ride a bicycle around that track than your bike. Clutch is fried. It's either on or off.
Oh, really?
The lever is all loose. The bike was not for me. He loves that bike and he rips that bike. So I'm sure it's a skill issue here, but
maybe not. I get on some people's bikes at class, and I now realize that I need to be nice when I tell them how crappy their bike is.
Yeah.
Because people get really hurt and offended.
Yeah.
But I've ridden some not so nice bikes.
You told me my suspension sucked one time.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, and it does. And it does.
Okay.
My
yeah,
Husky
I mean,
suspension
shoot.
sucks.
I ride some bikes too where it's just like, you should have left it alone. You know, like they try to do this stuff to it and they get suspension and it gets worse. They put this aftermarket clutch lever on. It's way worse. I'm just like, just leave the stock stuff on.
Yeah.
Half the time, that's usually better.
Yeah. Fix what needs to be fixed.
But the last class I did, I rode 4 different bikes. I rode a 2023 YZ450. Clutch was fried. Oof. Then I rode a KTM 450. It had an ASV clutch, which feels really crappy, and it was like this far from the grip, so it wouldn't clear your knuckle. You couldn't get it to disengage, so I had to adjust it for him. It wasn't like he had a tiny hand; he just had it adjusted wrong.
Just didn't know.
And I had to adjust the thing way further from the grip, and it worked fine. But the ASV, I hate them.
Really, I haven't tried one.
They just feel not good in your finger. It's like thick and clunky. And then I rode another bike and there was something else kind of wrong setup wise with that one too. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty picky, but so sorry, continue.
No, that's all right.
Do you still want to go pro now?
I mean, yeah, that's everybody's dream, isn't it?
Okay. And how old are you?
19.
We need to hurry up and get a facility so that way you could come and just stay for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I could train you in Supercross.
Yeah.
And I could make you a pro Supercross rider guaranteed.
Would be totally honest.
Definitely legally not supposed to say guarantee, especially not 100%. 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
I could make you a pro Supercross rider.
I am totally terrified of Supercross.
It's easy.
It looks so fun because I raced BMX for a while.
Yeah, perfect.
So I understand that.
Yep.
I actually, from what I remember in the novice class, I used to be pretty good at BMX. Like I would win some races. And
having bike skill and understanding of how a BMX bike works, pumping through rollers, if you learned how to manual, stuff like that, a lot of it is not that different. And it helps. I mean, for me, a lot of the BMX stuff translated. Supercross is pretty easy. I say that just because I think when you have a groomed track, you just have to learn the few key obstacles and then you're fine. Now, when you throw yourself into, you go to a race and it's ruts this deep all the way across and there's other people out there, whole different beast. Yeah. But learning on a freshly groomed track and just knocking the obstacles off one at a time, which when we have a facility, like we'll have skills courses where you can learn them separate from the track, you'll be dialed.
Yeah.
You'll be dialed. You could go pro when you're like 24, 25.
And we could race
so you
in
could
Maine
wait
together.
a little bit. Yeah. Because I'm going to keep going until I'm 70 probably.
Yeah. Beat Billy.
Tony LaRusso is racing Southwick. Do you know who that is?
He is racing? Yeah, I know.
I heard that he's racing this weekend and he's 52.
Yeah. Me and Ty were at, shout out Ty Reynolds. We were at,
Ty, great technique, by the way.
He likes to, the only thing I know, me and him, I love that kid.
But he's a big boy, so it's hard for him to, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've known him since we were in second grade. He's like the closest thing I have to a brother. And so that weekend we spent Saturday and Sunday riding in New Hampshire, and we would like give each other tips. He is quick. He's quicker than me, but I mean,
is he?
Yeah, but we both understand what we're doing.
Yep.
And the only thing with him, his footwork's amazing. Like he looks like Sexton, where his knees never pass his boots. He always likes to throw his head over the bars, but what he does, he tries to manhandle his bars, and it looks like he's trying to snap his bars in half. So I tell him, like, pinch your shoulder blades as opposed to trying to like.
Yeah, cool. It's cool to have each other too, to remind yourselves of like the little stuff. To a lot of people, maybe that wouldn't even be obvious. Maybe it would, and even as you get better and better, the things become more and more nuanced to where like you'll be catching things on him and he'll be catching things with you that nobody would be able to pick up. But just because you're in the Moto Academy, hearing everything all the time, like you'll be able to pick up all the stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. What the heck were we talking about before? So we're going to make you go pro. Excellent.
Yep.
The goal is, you're how old again? 18?
19.
19. Did you just turn?
No, I'm going to be turning 20 in August. So almost.
Shoot. Oh, so you're old. So we got 4 years before you have to turn pro. Let's say you turn pro at 24. So that's plenty of time. No rush. Maybe by then you could race it on the Stark.
Yeah.
You'd be comfortable on that bike by then.
Yeah.
When you race, we're bouncing all over the place. When you race Southwick, did you race it with a sand tire or no?
No. The only time I rode the Stark with that sand tire was at class. That day.
Game changer, huh?
Yeah. And it's even taking off for a jump, I noticed a difference being in the air.
Yeah.
With that tire.
Oh, you could probably get in the air like this and then do a backflip.
Yeah.
Like a video game. Just press the button.
Yeah.
The paddle tire is nuts.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much better and how much traction I was getting, like the corner that we worked at class coming out of that left-hander. You could actually not spin and just power out of the thing. Yeah, if you guys have a Stark, I don't care if you're even riding like semi-hard pack, put a paddle tire on, put a 120 paddle tire on. I think that's what that bike might have had, which is a massive paddle tire.
Yeah, do they even make those?
Yeah, I didn't know if they did. Yeah, that one had it. Because I was like, 120? He goes, oh yeah. And I'm like, that's a good idea because it's got the power.
Yeah.
Usually people will put the smaller paddle tire on because that eats away so much power. So in the 450s, you run a 110 paddle, I think, and on a 250, you could run a 100 paddle.
Yeah, I have a Kenda hybrid Southwick tire. So it's not a paddle tire, but it's, I don't even know how to explain it.
It's a little bit of a scoop, kinda?
Looks like a knobby. It's not even configured like a scoop, but it says Southwick on it. The knobs are like scooped in themselves a little bit. It's a Kenda
is it a
tire.
100 or a 110?
Yeah, it's a 100.
Yeah. Is it pretty good? Have you tried
that
it?
Tire. I've used it. It's been on my 125 for ever. I won that at New Hampshire at that Doug Henry vet ride. And yeah,
what's nice is if you ride a paddle tire where it's appropriate to run a paddle tire, they can last for quite a bit of time, right? It's when you ride it where you're not supposed to, like a hard pack track, and you're just eating that thing up.
Yeah.
I tested paddle tires at Southwick one time from Maxxis, and we tried I compared it to every we had. Maxxis had one that they were coming out with. I ran the Pirelli, a Kendo one, I'm pretty sure, a Dunlop one, obviously. We tried every single paddle tire and every paddle tire that existed back to back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting to see how different all of them felt.
Yeah.
Super different. Some of them, especially paddle tires back in the day, you couldn't turn.
Yeah.
Like you could not get that bike to lean over at the beginning part of the turn. It just wanted to stand up no matter what.
Yeah, the paddle tire I have is a Michelin one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Southwick. That's all I know. It might
So this
be,
is a different one than the Kenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have 2 Southwick ones because, like I said, when I first raced Southwick that first time, I was like, well, I'm going to need a paddle tire. So we bought that. Not knowing. I would have bought the Dunlop one if I had known, but I had no clue. So I bought the Michelin one. And
the new Dunlop one, is it the 12? The 14?
No, I think it's a 14.
They change the name so frequently, I can't keep up.
I remember I think the second number aligns with the year. That's a total guess, but I think
Is that
14, 24, yeah, I think. Because I think last year was 13, 2023.
Oh.
So,
Again,
again,
and then there was a 12.
totally guessing.
So it could have been in 22 that there was a 12.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I do remember MX-11. So maybe that was in 21.
Yeah. That might be. I'm totally guessing.
We might be making this up. Nothing is true here at the Moto Academy podcast.
That's not true.
But that is interesting if that is true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're turning pro at 24. I like that. What are let me say this too. You're at an age where I wasn't thinking super far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had asked me when I was 19 what my 10-year plan is, I probably would have laughed at that question and thought that was an impossibility to answer it. What a 5-year plan is, I probably would have laughed and said that also that was an impossibility to answer that question remotely accurately.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking super far ahead. I was pro. I was just kind of going one race at a time, trying to survive week to week almost.
Yeah.
So I was not thinking into the future.
Yeah.
Have you spent much time thinking about what you want to be doing and why? Or
I think about that all the time, honestly. I work at like a manufacturing place right now, and it's not that I don't love it, because I do love my job. Like I love the people I work with.
Good.
But at the end of the day, I'm still waking up and going to work from the same time every day, doing the same things. And at one point, me and my girlfriend have talked about maybe opening a track, like a national track.
Cool.
And making a new national or something like that.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How is your girlfriend your age?
Yeah. She's 2 years younger than me. So there's 1 year between us in school.
Got it. Yeah, you guys are so young. So 10 years. You're 29 years old. Where are we living? What are you doing?
Hopefully
10 years, 29
10
years
years
old.
from right this second.
Yep.
What is it? What today's Wednesday? Thursday?
Wednesday, June 20.
At 5 o'clock, hopefully 10 years from right now, I'll be either getting out of work, like the job I'm at now.
What's the job? You want to be at the job you're at now in 10 years?
Yeah,
potentially?
I'm gonna make a lot of money at the job I work at now. I'm gonna work.
So you're going to stay there for a while and work up.
Yeah, unless something else I find to take me a different way.
Okay.
The goal right now is to stay where I am and make
What
my
do you
way
want to
up.
work up to? Just
anything they need.
Leadership role within the company? Of
Yeah,
some sort?
I enjoy working with my hands. I can't now.
Shout out.
But like everything at work, there's.
What do you do? Can I ask?
I'm an inspector, so we inspect. We're a ball bearing company, and I check everything on every part, pretty much.
Okay.
So like any material.
So it's like a manufacturing company?
Yeah, we have a bunch. We don't make any like finished product, so nothing we make goes to a customer, but we have like other sister companies that buy our material, or we send our material to for them to finish, and we have customers like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. I can't imagine I'm not, but like we have customers like Boeing, and we have an RZR in the corner of our shop,
like a Polaris.
Yeah 4-wheeler, and we underneath, you look at it, it's got a bearing, like a suspension bearing with our company name on it.
Oh, got it. So the stuff is probably on a whole bunch of stuff everywhere.
It's everywhere. I know we have some military stuff.
How many employees does this company have?
I would say under 50.
Oh,
That's a guess.
okay.
It's a big building.
But it's relatively small company. It's not like thousands of employees.
There's other buildings. Okay, let me back up. In my building, there's probably under 50 people. There's 2 other buildings in the same like industrial park as us.
Okay.
And I don't know how many people work there. I've never been in either of those other 2 buildings.
Are there more people than just those other 2 buildings also?
Yeah, there's more of our company around. I know there's one in South Carolina. There's one in Texas.
Okay.
There's one in Reynosa, Mexico.
It'd be interesting to know how many people work there.
Yeah.
So you got to think bigger here, or is your goal to be moving on up and leveling up within that building, or not necessarily?
Within the company. If I stay in that building, I'd want to be up on the top floor.
Have you met the leaders, anybody in charge of that building? Obviously?
Yeah, I work. Yeah, we, like I said, we're a small building. So if I have a question and my boss isn't available, I'll go to our plant manager and ask him a question. Or our plant manager raced BMX. So
really?
When he first I've been there longer than him. So when he got hired, that's how we,
Did he get hired straight into plant manager role?
Yeah, he worked. I don't know what he did at one of our sister companies, but he got brought in from one of our sister companies that we work closely with to.
So at your company, you could stay there for an extended period, 5 years, 10 years, let's say, plus. There's a roadmap there to be able to make more money and level up.
Yeah,
You know this from just kind of looking around and seeing the roles that people have and kind of having an idea of how much they make, or?
Yeah, right now we're actually merging with another one of our sister companies. They're building like 30,000 square feet onto our building, and we're going to just completely absorb another company pretty much, even though it is like our sister company.
Yeah.
A lot of our employees are from this company. We're still absorbing all of them, and a lot of those people, that company's in Fairfield and we're in Oxford. A lot of people don't want to drive all the way to Oxford if they,
Got it.
So the dude's job that I want after the next step for me, that guy is not coming to our building. So
is it like what would the next step be? What's the job position?
Technician.
Okay.
So like I said, I'm an inspector right now. I use tools like a micrometer and caliper, which are like precision measuring tools and stuff. We use MARG federal gauges. So it's like big, heavy chunks of metal with a plate on top with like a moving piece that you can measure with like a dial and an indicator up top. And you can see how big something is or the size of something if you set it right. And a lot of people in our company aren't really experienced with those gauges and how to set them up and
it almost
work
seems
on
like
them.
that would be the next step above technician, but technician is technically above that.
Yeah. So.
And then what's after technician? Like a line manager?
An engineer, I guess.
Okay.
An engineer, and then.
Do you need schooling to be able to do anything within any of those?
I would assume they would like a degree, but at the same time, if they have a kid who, like I started working at this company, I want to get my facts right here. I think it was 6 days after I graduated high school. So, and that was just because they were processing my paperwork and like I had to take a drug test and stuff for them, and they were just processing all that. So I would have started working the day after if I graduated.
How old are people when they graduate high school?
I was
17.
I was 17. Some people are 18. But my birthday's in August, so it was a couple months after I graduated.
That's cool that you've hopped into something that quick. Yeah, most people don't get that lucky to where they're kind of fumbling around trying to find something, or resumes are every which way. And yeah, and that's cool that you like it too.
Yeah.
Is it a typical, 9 to 5-ish, Monday to Friday type of schedule?
Yeah, it's 7 to 3:30 my hours are, but yeah,
Okay.
that's 9 to 5. It's the same amount of time.
What time do you get up to get to work at 7?
This is kind of embarrassing, but I have to be there
6:59?
almost. 6:30.
Okay.
I live like 12 minutes away from it.
Nice.
And I don't really need to I do everything I need to do at night. Like,
Yeah.
I'll make my lunch at night, put it in the fridge, and just wake up, alarm goes off, get out of bed, put clothes on, brush my teeth, go downstairs and wake up on the drive there. So
That's how I remember school being
Yeah.
in the morning, just like, where am I? Okay,
Yeah.
we're out the door. And it wasn't even that early for school. 6:30 is not bad. I
No.
thought you were going to say like 4 or something
no.
crazy. Is the sun up when you're waking up?
yeah, sometimes it's not in the winter. It's usually not.
Oh,
but
that's usually my rule. I don't like to wake up before the sun comes up.
yeah.
Not meant to do that.
Yeah.
Wake up when the sun comes up, go to sleep when the sun goes down. That's what Allie and I do.
Yeah.
That's actually our strategy.
Yeah. It's nice.
But we miss the sun, sleeping a little later than the sun coming up.
Yeah.
Slightly. You had questions written down?
Yeah, I have notes on my phone.
I have still a bunch more questions for you, but if you want to hop into any of yours, you're more than welcome.
My first one, I've been wanting, this was a podcast question in the old app that I was thinking about. What years did you race the outdoor nationals? Like 2011, 12, 13 around?
11, 12, and 13. And I think that was, what is going on up there?
Just playing piano.
11, 12, and 13. Beyond that, I think I showed up and did like miscellaneous pop-ins.
Yeah.
Once or twice. I think maybe I did one in 17 randomly. And was that it? No, I had to have done one more recent than that. I can't remember. But yeah, the 3 years of like really properly doing outdoors, 2011, I was on a YZ 450. I would have been like 17 years old. I was fast that year, but I got horrible arm pump, and I was also like really little, and I couldn't figure out my cramping situation, and I couldn't figure out how to make it 30 minutes plus 2 laps without like feeling like I was going to die.
Yeah.
And what it come to find out, it wasn't because I wasn't in shape, but I was burning so many calories and I wasn't eating the right types of foods. So I was like, my body was burning muscle before I could get anywhere close to the end of that moto. And I just never had anything in the tank. So there was multiple times that year, like Paula, I got the whole shot, I think. And I was like riding top 10 for like 10, 15 minutes of the moto. Budds Creek, I feel like I remember running top 10 for a good portion of the moto, 15, 20 minutes even. Yeah. And then like at the 15, 20 minute mark, it was just like
downhill
nothing.
From there. Yeah.
And it was really frustrating at the time.
So
and it would always bump me just out of like points. So I'd end up like getting 21st after all that work and being up in a point spot the whole time. I scored my first point at Washougal that year on the Yamaha. I think I got 19th or 17th or something like that. Following year, 2012, is when I rode for a factory supported KTM team. That was a crazy, I think I've told stories of that year before, but like a really bad year mentally. Yeah. I was fairly fast and fairly consistent, but I was like a 16th to 19th place guy. I feel like I remember getting a lot of 17th, 18th, and 19th. And that's kind of where I lived. Yeah. And then, which is hard to do in outdoors. I mean, you got to be pretty fast to be finishing 20, there. Yeah. That year, I don't think I had speed to really finish up above that necessarily. It was kind of like I was just landing there consistently every moto. 2013, I was on a Cowie 450 again. That was 250 the year before. Cowie 450. And that was the year I got 4th in Supercross. I got 10th in points, bunch of top 10s in Supercross. So I was like somewhat confident. Yeah. Still not really somehow, but somewhat. I was like a 16th to 18th place guy. Yeah. Wasn't super fast. I was like, I would ride the whole moto, and this was the opposite problem in 2011. I would ride the whole moto in like 25th place, and then, 28 minutes into the moto, I'd just start clicking guys off, and I would never ever get tired. Yeah. And that year I was totally different build. So 2011, when I was 17, I was probably 150 pounds, 145 pounds. Mm-hmm. In 2013, I was 168. So it's quite a bit. I was almost 20 pounds heavier, jacked. Yeah. And so I just had, some fat, I guess, a little bit more fat, and just like I could last longer. Yeah. Yeah. In 2011, I couldn't last at all. It was pitiful. I want to go back to riding some outdoors. Yeah. I think it'd be really, really fun to get in good shape again, get fast again, rides, because the tracks are so rough. It's so fun. Yeah. Because it's a challenge.
Yeah. That's why part of the reason I love Southwick is it's so rough. So
you could be so creative and just like try anything and go anywhere. And then what's fun about outdoors too is how long the motos are. To have 35 minutes to just go explore. Yeah. Basically, it's cool.
Yeah. So that leads me to my question, which was, do you remember there being like those sponsored step down things? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I don't know what happened to those, because I this is so stupid, but I thought those were cool. Like,
Yeah.
they had one at Southwick where you'd come over like a big roller and there'd just be a drop and it'd say like Lucas Oil, like in the dirt.
Yeah. Good question.
I don't know whatever happened to those. I didn't hear anyone talk about
I
those
have
or
a
anything.
picture of me doing a sick scrub at Southwick over one of those signs.
Yeah.
I do know for sure that somebody endoed on a sight lap. Did you ever see that or hear about that?
I would assume that would happen.
Some factory guy, I can't remember who it was, forgot that it was there, endoed on the sight lap. So I don't know if they got hurt and that's why they got rid of it. Because I don't know why else they would have. It was cool. It would have looked cool on TV.
Yeah.
In the sight laps and first lap of practice, there would be like a big sign or there was something that said drop or was like, there would be
like
flags.
mountain bikes.
Yeah, they would just let you know like, hey, don't roll this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't high enough to be scary. It was like the height of your chair.
Yeah,
so
and it seemed fairly easy.
like
Like
2.5 feet.
I could probably do it nice and easy.
totally
right over,
just was cool.
Yeah.
Especially at Southwick where there's not really any jumps.
Yeah.
Kind of gave you a little moment to like float and like it was a jump for a second.
let go for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that in 2011, 12, 13 range?
I would
probably?
assume so. Yeah. I remember just being a kid and looking at those and I was watching national. I think it might have been 2022. I was watching nationals and I was thinking about it. I was like, whatever happened to those? I never
There's
remembered
some
them.
jumps where you could, well, like look at straight rhythm last year where we jumped over a giant scaffolding tabletop where like it was a place for people to, it was like a concession stand underneath it.
Oh, really?
I think they made something underneath it. And then the whole top could have been an advertisement. I don't know if there was a Red Bull logo up top or not.
It was metal, right?
But nobody was landing up there, so you can use spaces like the sky shot at Unadilla.
Yeah.
You almost can make the takeoff big enough and then just have
That drop there.
some signage and a drop there. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should bring those back. Why not?
Yeah.
I agree with you. And it would have been in my era because I remember definitely racing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one you're going to enjoy talking about.
Do you watch
is-
old races like that on TV ever?
All the time, dude. Like, especially now, I watch so many. I love, like,
Do you have a favorite race or a race that you've watched more than a couple times?
the first one that comes to mind would be Toronto 2014. Stewart.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
That was just like
That's the first one that comes to my
when
mind.
he scrubbed under Brayton. That was insane. Like,
That was a sick track too.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that like that is one of the most iconic ones and people mention that as theirs.
24. Were you racing that 2014?
Yeah, I think I got 8th or 9th that night in
Yeah.
the 250 class. But the long rhythm that Barsha kept botching and Stewart was able to go
Yeah, jump
quad
over
over
the
the
wall.
table.
Yeah.
I was almost able to get that in time qualifying. Like I got up over the first one, got all the way to the second one, but like couldn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Then there was something else that night that I did. There was a couple things that year where like in time qualifying, somehow for some reason I was able to do an obstacle that like nobody else was. And I don't know what it was about that year, but that track at Toronto, because Stewart, the rhythm before the finish line, he was 3-ing in. Which nobody else was going 3 in.
Yeah.
After the finish line, you would turn left. There was the wall, and then there was a little tire tappy type thing. And Stewart was doing a quad tire tap.
Yeah, and then landing in a pocket and just launching
then going
the rest
3-2
of the rhythm
instead of 2-3, which was way, way faster. And then the long rhythm after that.
That was a split lane, right?
The split lane was before the finish.
Yeah, I was gonna say because he was doing a big line in that split lane too.
Split lane, he was going 3 in on the right side in the split lane, which was huge.
Yeah.
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 That track was a gnarly track. The triple, TV did no justice to this. The takeoff of that triple was massive, by the way. And the takeoff was super deep ruts. And you would come out of the rhythm all awkward and kind of bobbling and then 90-degree turn into those deep ruts. So it was impossible to get lined up.
Yeah.
Super scary.
Yeah.
The 450s would have had a more rutted track, but the 250, like barely being able to make that thing,
Yeah.
that was a gnarly track.
Yeah, that
Whoops
sounds
got all
gnarly.
beat up. People were crashing the whoops left and right.
What's up with the whoops this year? The 9 whoop rule?
That's a bummer.
I mean, I hate to
That's
see
a
people get hurt.
bummer.
Like, one of my favorite riders is Christian Craig.
Yep.
I have his Southwick jersey from 22. He threw it in the crowd and
You got it?
I didn't even know he threw it. It just landed on me and I was like, what is this? I just
way.
rolled it up in a ball, put it under my shirt. Someone would steal it.
No way.
Yeah. And
Landed on me. Oh my God.
and my girlfriend and I, like, she
Talk
found
about a beast and whoops.
that dude is nuts. And that's what I was going to bring it up is that he crashed. Was that Denver? No. It was last year. It was on the Husky when he broke his elbow.
He ate it in a whoop section?
Yeah, really bad.
Oh.
Dislocated his hip or broke his hip, destroyed his elbow. Like it's still, I think he just got, I think he's still got stitches.
What little I pay attention. All I know, I am always an advocate of just like, we've had some big whoop sections in the past, long ones too, like 13, 14, 15, maybe more whoops than that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do it. I think that by the time people get to the end of them, like if they're that difficult and big, you're not going to be going that fast anyways. I don't know. But then, yeah, you're right about the safety. The problem with the 9 whoop rule is it turns into a 3-3-3.
Yeah, and then
it's always going to be into the 3-3-3 because it's less risk. Once everybody starts doing it, like there's less to gain because it's like, well, nobody's skimming them anyway, so why don't we just jump them?
And how much faster is jumping them?
And it turns the difference into almost nothing. Right. There's only a couple of tracks this year.
No separation. Racing is...
No. I was listening to a quick clip of Kitchen on Gypsy Tales.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the whoops, and there was like only one track he said where he was like, yeah, I was skimming the whole time, and he goes, it was sketchy.
Yeah.
And I was maybe gaining a 10th.
Yeah.
So all that risk to just gain a 10th.
Yeah,
it's like,
and I also, on that podcast, Kitchen talking about the risk of, I mean, not the risk, I guess, yeah, the risk of learning whoops. Like, that's something for Supercross in itself is learning how to hit whoops. And once you learn how to hit whoops, that's such an advantage that you have over so many people that...
Yeah, what Supercross lacks is a proper way to learn it, which is our whole concept and theory with what we're going to do. It's amazing that nobody really has done it efficiently yet, but nobody's in a better position than Moto Academy to do it. And there needs to be a safe way to learn, somebody that can teach, which there's people out there that kind of can teach it. Yeah. But shoot, I never really fully learned. I had people like overseeing me hit the whoops, but it wasn't super technical, precise instruction from what I remember.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but like, and I've hit whoops with like everybody, you know? So like I spent a lot of time at Davey Millsap's house. He's one of the best whoop riders ever. I don't necessarily remember him teaching me anything specific about the whoops.
Did you see that video of, it was either Davey or it was K-Dub. They were in running shoes and jeans at a training facility.
It was Wyndham.
It was Wyndham, and he got on the bike and just shredded this dragon's back, jumped over it, and all the kids were like, what the?
Yeah, what? And almost like he kind of like got a little front and high on the dragon's back too. And then, I saw a clip of him just recently railing a turn without gear on too.
No gear. Just...
Oh my God. Wyndham's a beast though.
Speaking of gear, which brings me to my next point that I was thinking about.
Hit me with it.
You don't wear a chest protector ever.
No.
That's bad.
That is bad. Do you know that because I've said that, or do you know that because you can tell that I don't wear one?
I think we talked about it once too, but I mean, you could see every clip on Instagram. It's obvious. You can see the pecs. Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the reason, dude. The pecs are large and in charge. It's hard to have a chest protector that makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't really worn a chest protector that I love and that is super, super, super comfortable. The Fox one, it's still, you can see it through the jersey and it's still slightly uncomfortable. I'm sure there's one out there. I should find it because I have punctured my lung twice. Oof. That probably wouldn't have happened if I had a chest protector on.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you ever crashed without a chest protector on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And roost.
Oh, granted, even see, I didn't even understand if you had a roost guard and no, like mine. This brings me to my next. I was thinking about, because I wear a plastic, like a hard, thick plastic chest protector.
Yeah.
If I wasn't wearing that when I crashed, I probably would have broken my back worse.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot worse.
And you punctured your lung.
I probably would have, yeah.
Didn't you puncture something?
No, I had it's called a pneumothorax.
Yep.
Air escaped my lung.
Got it.
And it was like in the pressurized.
So it was like almost a puncture, considered a puncture, but not quite.
No, I don't really know. It wasn't a puncture. It was,
because I've had a pneumothorax before too.
And it's from puncturing your lung.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I
thought so.
I think that can happen without puncturing your lungs. I don't think your lungs are, a huge medical guy over here. I don't think lungs are super tight where there's no air can get out. I think if you hit the ground hard enough like I did, you could end up with that slipping out, maybe up here, maybe down here. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, thank God you had the chest protector on then.
Yeah.
And yes, I should wear one. The neck brace could be argued that, like, you know,
break your collarbone.
Well, or it's just really difficult to get into the right position.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find a good fitting neck brace too. What else? The knee braces to knee pad switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to wear all these things. I mean, once upon a time, on my body, I had knee braces, a chest protector, and a neck brace.
Yeah.
Now I don't wear a neck brace. I don't wear a chest.
Picture right there.
Yeah, guaranteed I had a chest protector on under that jersey.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Because that was...
What year was that?
I wonder what chest protector I had on under that jersey, because it doesn't look like it was big.
Do you know what year that is?
That would have been 09 probably. Oh, 09 or 10, which honestly was probably, I might have been faster that year than any other year of my life.
Yeah.
I was very fast that year from what I remember. Yeah, to now being no neck brace, no chest protector, and knee pad instead of, and it's freeing. Tell you that much. The biggest difference is the knee pads.
Yeah, and I don't wear knee like guards with the hard anymore.
Yeah.
So
what do you wear?
TP199s.
Okay. And before that, you had just clunky
my
knee
dad
pads
had the Velcro ones that go around your leg.
those
they always fall off and slide up and down. Yeah.
The TP199s are awesome though.
I love them.
Yeah, game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, for anybody listening to this, try the EVS TP199. They're inexpensive. I'm not even technically sponsored by them anymore. I'm going to create my own eventually that's better, but for now it's the best we got.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, but there's 2 or 3 things that are very easy fixes that I specifically would want, and it will make them better. And then brand the Moto Academy, and we'll sell a crap ton, because I sell so many EVSs, and it pains me because it's like,
you could be getting that more.
Yeah, I know. But they're good. So in the meantime, get them and watch how much you can actually grip the bike compared to before. And you didn't even have the experience of switching from I wore a carbon big old clunky knee brace.
Really?
Couldn't feel a thing.
From your ACL or just because?
Even before the ACL. So I tore my ACL in that brace, but I was wearing braces from the time I was on 85s all the way through. And I just thought it was normal to not be able to, I mean, it's just ricocheting off plastic. You can't feel where anything is. People are getting arm pump all the time.
Do your knees move around in them too?
Yeah,
I can't imagine they fit the width of your knee perfectly.
They hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. My knees would be bloody after every time I rode, and now,
I mean, I
still definitely
good calluses on the inside
for sure, but it's nothing like when I wore a brace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Slater Skins Supercross team.
Slater Skins.
I heard you were on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
Have you seen the Slater Skins in person before?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah. Ty knows them real well.
That's right. Yeah. They're from kind of same neck of the woods.
I don't know. I had never met him. They
have a mutual friend somehow, some way. Yeah, I knew that. What year did I ride? 2017 maybe. I think I rode West Coast 250 on the Slater Skins Yamaha.
Yeah.
I rode 450 on the East Coast, I think. Kind of came off the couch. I don't know. I didn't have a ride. I didn't have a way of doing West Coast, and all of a sudden the team called me and was like, "Do you want to do it?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll try." Was not in very good shape. Hadn't ridden in a while for some reason. I wasn't hurt, but it was just a weird time of I just started doing classes, so my focus was just shifting to the classes. And 1110 Mods built our motors that year, and 1110 Mods, a guy out of Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure, and he built some rocket ship bikes, but bikes that I think have been kind of known to maybe blow up a little bit, potentially. That I don't know for sure. I think that was the reputation I remember having, but he was a super nice guy that year. And my bike, I think it did blow up one time. I'll tell the story there in a second. My bike held up for the most part. It was very fast. I think my suspension was pretty good that year. I was very happy with the bike. I don't like how it looked, obviously, but the bike was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I made pretty much all the mains that year. I was fairly fast. Brock Schmelian was our team manager, who was somebody that I raced with a couple of years before that, pretty fast. Who were my teammates? Not a clue. Did I have a teammate?
Lone Soldier.
Jerry Robin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know who that is,
Yeah.
right? Jerry Robin and there might have been somebody else, but Jerry was fast. Jerry's always been fast.
Still is.
And I was a head case then, but Jerry was even more of a head case than me. I think he still is potentially a head case. He's got to be still a head case because talent-wise, he's got a lot of speed. He's got bike skill. Jerry's good.
He's consistent. I mean,
he's been doing really good lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's top 20
definitely
outdoors, I think.
Yeah, and he's at a couple where he's kind of been up front. He made some mains in 450 Supercross,
He made a
which
lot of
is
mains.
extremely hard to do. Yeah, so that's impressive. I think it just took him a long time to like safely learn whoops and to kind of piece all the things together. So he was my teammate. I was pretty unconscious then. Don't remember much else about that year, but I do remember last lap of the heat race in San Diego Supercross. I am in qualifying position, all is well. Get the white flag. All of a sudden, my bike is stuck wide open.
Oh, Chase Sexton style.
So I have to ride the whole last lap,
Shredding your clutch.
just controlling the power with the clutch and still shifting and doing all the things. And by the way, I'm in like 7th, so there's people right behind me and I can't go slower. So the bike's stuck wide open. I'm just like, the whole time. And then I jump the finish, qualify, land, bike blows up.
On the landing?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yep. And if anybody knows San Diego Supercross, the commute from the stadium to the pits is forever. Like you ride through city streets.
Yeah, I remember that this year too.
It takes so long to get back. So they had to run my bike back and do a motor swap, I'm pretty sure, in between that heat race and the main event. And I'm 99% sure they did it in time, which is impressive.
Yeah. Wow.
That was so scary to ride
wide open. How many laps did you do?
Track.
One full lap?
One full
One
lap.
full lap is still...
And had to hit the rhythms and everything.
And the whoops.
And the whoops. Wide open. Speaking of finger on the clutch.
Yeah.
You got to have a finger on the clutch if you're stuck wide open. But I taught a class. I don't know if I told the podcast this yet. No, I told a live stream last night or the night before. I had class at Supercross, which is a sick track in Michigan. They have a long roller section, like one of the longest roller sections I've ever seen at a public track. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of safe because it comes right out of the corner. It's just like how Redbud has it, where you do the corner and you're immediately in the rollers. I remember you talking and then you're just lofting across the tops. There was probably like 20 of them. There were so many.
Wow.
So instead of going to the jump, we went straight to the roller section. And I'm like, let's learn these. Because there was like a skill level of class where it kind of made sense. I'm like, I bet you this would be fun if we work this. I let them start going through. There's some guys that are able to kind of loft and get it. Not a single person had their finger on the clutch. So the majority of the class, what they were doing is they couldn't time it. So you would have one dude that would come through and drop it too early. Next lap, that very same person to the moon and then drop it too late on the backside of it. And now they're stuck jumping by mistake, right? So what I did is I drew a line across the top of each roller, which this was a pretty fun idea. And then I said, watch, I guarantee you I can loft and drop my front tire on this line. You could put a penny on the ground. I'll drop it on that penny. Mm-hmm. Every single time. You could give me 100 whoops in a row and I'll drop it precisely.
That's just killing the power with the clutch.
That's all the clutch. Sure. I'm initiating the wheelie with the clutch to control exactly how high that front end comes up. And because I'm in 4th gear, or even on the 450, I would hit the corner in 4th, lug. So just to create enough power using the clutch to get it up, and then exactly where I want to, kill the power with the clutch, and then manage it to drop it exactly where I want. And nobody at that class, at least, had ever heard of using the clutch that way.
You do that in Supercross whoops too?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Supercross whoops, you'll get one that's super big, then you'll get one that's eaten out a little bit more. You'll get one that's, chunked sideways, whatever the case is. Or if you just miss time, or, get wheel spin on the one before and you have to try to create more power, or you're going to hit low. There's so many different situations. All of it's clutch.
Yeah.
But I've never endoed in the whoops before, ever.
I was going to say, what about that? What was that, 22 you did? Or 23? When you crashed in the whoops?
On the first lap?
No, I thought it was towards the end. Maybe it was the first lap. I wasn't there. It was on YouTube. It was 20... Had to have been 23.
And it was in a vlog?
Yeah. I think you got swappy.
So in a vlog that year, it was first lap, and Jet got caught up in a pile up at the end of the whoops, and I got caught up in a pile up mid whoop.
Yeah.
But it was just in a pile up. It wasn't
Yeah.
like me crashing in the whoops on my own. I don't think I've crashed in the whoops on my own before, but like running off into hitting tough blocks.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever endoed,
Yeah.
which a lot of people, when they're learning whoops, they endo over and over and over again. Like they can't stop endoing, and it's because they have no idea how to use the clutch to control it. So like I can time that front tire precisely where I want to put it every time, exactly where I want it. And what's nice about having a finger on the clutch is if at any moment, even in Supercross whoops, you want to be like, I'm done now. Like I just got sketchy. Let's pull the clutch in and hit the rear brake quick and just drop in and roll. You can actually do that.
Yeah.
Especially in outdoor rollers. So what I demonstrated to the people there, and when you watch people learn it that don't have a finger on the clutch, they'll start to loft and wheelie and get speed. And next thing you know, they're 12 whoops in, going 60 miles an hour, starting the swap, and they have zero control. And it's like, you should have aborted mission 6 whoops ago.
Yeah.
When you have the clutch, you can abort mission at any time safely. Don't know how we started talking about that, but for gosh sakes, people, learn that clutch use.
Yeah. The only thing,
What were
other
we
thing I
talking
can, I don't know. Let's change it again.
Sure, hit me with it. I mean, we're at 56 minutes already.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hit me with more questions. Gosh darn it. Nice hat, by the way. You need a refresh. That thing is looking a little haggard.
This was...
Has it seen a wash machine or anything before?
No, it sits on the...
So that's sunlight, maybe? Sun fade?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sits on my dash.
The pin looks cool on the side.
That's for my job.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Do you like that rope hat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this.
Those were a big hit, and we sold out of them immediately, and we haven't brought them back since for some reason.
Yeah, I bought this at the first class I went to.
Oh, we had it at the class?
Yeah.
Was the van there?
Yeah, that must have been June. That must have been a year ago around now.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Did I have a bike there?
No, I don't think so. James did.
James did?
Yeah. He had his KTM there.
Yeah.
That was before the Yamaha.
Don't
Who
remember.
knows?
Don't remember.
Hunter Lawrence, Alpine Star goggles. You and
I have talked about this multiple times.
I want those freaking Alpine Star goggles so bad.
So they don't sell them?
No
Interesting strategy. So it must just be, I bet you a couple of things. One, he's head to toe otherwise, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they just wanted him completely head to toe.
They look like Oakley frames.
And they offered him a little bit more money to make sure he was head to toe. Because Jet wears what, 100% still?
Yeah.
I am very surprised. I bet you Jet won't be in 100% next year.
Yeah.
He'll bankrupt the company. He needs too much money, you would think.
Yeah. I love 100%.
Usually the highest caliber dudes wear Oakley because Oakley has the budget.
And
typically.
And the ones Hunter wears, that they look like Oakley air brake because they have the big cutout in the nose. So
it's either they just wanted him head to toe, or they're testing for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Because when I asked him about, he's had them at the dog pound, obviously, for long before he was wearing them at the races.
Must have been wearing those 3.
And then he was saying
years.
he was testing them. So I guess in that phase, it would have made sense because he wasn't racing with them yet. He was practicing with them, so he was testing with them. I don't know. They're cool.
They are. I want them. I love Alpine Stars.
Alpine Star is a cool brand. Yeah. Are you head to toe otherwise?
Yeah. Not now. I'm going to get a Bell helmet.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, after crashing.
So your helmet's toast?
Yeah. All scratches up the side of it, and I don't know where the visor is.
We have to talk about the crash quickly because we haven't referenced the fact that you have a pink
and I'm
cast on
injured
your
right
hand.
now.
We're an hour into the podcast.
Yeah.
And he's got a pink cast on.
Yeah, I crashed.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it was a great day. When is that video coming out?
It hasn't come out yet? Okay. Stuff is on a pretty big lag.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I don't know. I guess any week now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know their schedule of, I know they, their deliverables. I know what days they post.
Mm-hmm.
As far as when things come out, I don't know. I would guess in the next week or two. So we get Kenny over, we don't know how big of a step down it is, but it's pretty big. 80 feet.
It's not small.
Probably, or would you guess more or less?
I don't know. Yeah, I would say 80, 90. Yeah. It's big.
It's pretty big. It's third year, basically wide open, like on my 450 coming out of that corner.
The thing with this jump is that you fall from the sky.
Yeah, step downs. I've said this before in the podcast. I don't know how you feel about them. Maybe you don't like them as much as maybe you once used to. Step downs, I'm not a fan of, because you are falling from the sky a little bit.
Yeah, even that other step down up top where the old entrance used to be at 508, like where we parked the van at class.
Yeah.
That step down there.
Yeah.
I didn't jump that until
that one.
This year, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Believe it or not. That's not a hard jump.
No, not at all. But step downs are, they're unnecessarily dangerous sometimes because you are coming down from the sky. They're hard to time because they're usually blind.
And yeah, you can't see. Exactly. You can't see.
Yeah, so this is a pretty beefy step down, but you won a free private lesson, 12 days of Christmas. And so I'm like, all right, let's spend a couple hours. And usually I wouldn't bring anybody over to a big jump like that. But
we had the same idea.
Yeah. I'm like, screw it. I think you're ready. Let's piece this together. Let's jump it.
Because I asked you, I was like, do you think I can hit that jump? And you were like, that's what I was thinking about the private lesson should be. I was like, me too.
Yeah, cool. And it was perfect. So you eyed it up a couple of times. You watched and listened to me jump it a couple of times, but didn't take very long. And then you just went for it. I think first time you jumped it, you clipped it the tiniest bit.
I cased it, not a lot, but a good amount. But it wasn't out of control.
But handled it perfectly. Also, the one thing I was most impressed by the first time you jumped it was like the attitude of the bike. You had the front end pitched pretty low for somebody jumping something first time.
My dad told me I jump like Hanson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good compliment.
Especially on that Stark, because if you blip that throttle too early on the Stark, you're landing Axel Hodges.
Yeah. So you were perfect. This is on the Stark, by the way. You were perfect. Which horsepower?
67.
Whew.
Not a little bit.
That's a lot of ponies. So 67 horsepower on the Stark. Still pretty hard on the gas coming out of that corner, probably to clear it, right? Clip it a little bit first try. Second try, OJ'd a little bit.
Greased it. Second try.
Greased the second try. Third try, OJ'd a little bit. But all three were happy. Like, they made me happy. And I get nervous very easily. So like the fact that I wasn't scared, I'm like, oh, he's dialed. So basically I'm like, oh, well, this is a quick video. We get you sessioning a few times, make you look good. And then we moved on to a corner, get the corner dialed super quick. And then, it's kind of a deja vu moment, because very similar to at the end of class when I'm, taking pictures or people are buying tour shirts, I'm hanging out with everybody. And then all of a sudden somebody comes running from somewhere. Oh, person's down. Because that's when people get hurt at class.
That's happened at 2 of the 3 classes I've done.
Really?
Yeah. The first Bromax was that KDX dude. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He crashed real bad on that straight.
Yep. And it's always after class ends. It's always, and that's why we're warning people at riders meeting. I'm like, I don't want to jinx you guys, but hey, know when to stop.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden somebody comes running over and like, I think Kenny's down in the way back. I'm like, gosh darn it. So I hop on, I start riding back over there, and the girl that works there at 508 is riding your bike back.
Oh, it was the girl?
Yep.
I thought it was some other dude that was riding that day.
No, at least by the time I saw, she was the one on it. And bars are all mangled. Things are like falling off. And I'm just like, but I don't see you yet. And I go a little bit further. Grant's on the back of the bike. And then you're on the quad with Russell.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, is that his name?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think track owner, right? Yeah. That's who came and got you?
Yeah.
And right away, as soon as I saw you, I'm like, oh, he got it. He hit his head. You could just tell.
I couldn't see for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you were doing the good old, tell the same story over and over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. You told me how you crashed 25 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
What else? You repeated a few things over and over and over, which is super normal. And that's when you know. But before you even said anything, I could tell just by like the look,
the 1,000-yard stare.
Face. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, darn it. And where they were pulling you out from was the highest speed part of the track. So I'm like, either you wadded, down the tabletop straightaway where you're going a million miles an hour, or on the jump coming back. So I'm like, either way, it's probably not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, end of the day. And what did you end up? What was the actual?
I had a laundry list of injuries. This thumb is shot, so the plateau that like your thumb rotates on like that broke. So like under here, it's actually my hand more than my thumb, but Do you remember I was there trying to pop my thumb back into place over and over? I couldn't get it in.
Yeah. That's because there was nothing to get it into.
There was nothing to hold it in place. So my thumb was just floating around in my skin pretty much. My x-ray, you could see, it looks like someone took my bone and just snapped it in half like a potato chip. It wasn't shattered, thank God, but like, yeah, the bone
So did they use that piece of the bone and pin it back somehow?
Yeah, so I have 2 pins in here. There's one, she told me, going through that piece of bone into the other piece of bone. And then I think there's one holding my thumb onto, I think there's a pin here that goes into this part of my hand, holding my thumb.
Are they confident your hand will be 100%?
I haven't heard anything too...
Was there concerns of that at the beginning?
I can't really feel my thumb that well. It's pretty numb. Like, I think it was last week I got this cast off. I mean, my splint off and the cast on.
Yep.
Because after I got surgery, they wanted me in a splint for a week just to make sure it didn't... Because I guess it's common for bones to reject... Would you just lip yourself?
No, right off the tooth.
I guess it's common for bones to reject metal like that. I'm sure you've had metal.
No, I haven't.
Really?
Yeah. So, I've had ACL surgery and that's it.
Yeah. So I guess it's common, not super common, but your bones could reject that metal and try to push it out. So they wanted to make sure that wasn't happening. So like I said, I was in a splint for a week and I went back and got this beautiful pink cast.
So far so good, minus not much feeling in that thumb or no feeling in the thumb?
I have feeling. Like I could feel the tip of my thumb.
Yeah.
When they took it off, I was like feeling.
Yeah.
I could feel
it's
everything.
Probably normal at first too, just because your nerves might be a little messed up.
Yeah, and I'm not using it. I mean, it's wrapped up. It's inside of this the whole time. So, and so yeah, it's pretty numb around here. So this is the worst part.
Yeah. So that was the hand. What else did you have? You had other stuff other than that.
Everything was my right side. So I don't know how I have no clue how this happened. I can't even.
There's so many ways it could have happened. It could have happened on impact while you were still on the bike.
Hand blew through it, I think.
Totally. The bike could have hit you after you fell. You could have fell onto that side. You could have fell onto your hand. I bet you though it was something to do with the bike. So probably very well could have been just on the impact before you even crashed. That would be my theory.
Yeah. And so I took, everything was on my right side. Like I hit my head on my right side. All the scratches are on my right side of my helmet. Like this shoulder is pretty dislocated.
So that was dislocated?
It's an AC separation.
Okay. Yeah. And grade what? Do you remember what
3.
they said?
You had 4, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
but
they weren't sure.
Pretty serious, so you'll have that little bump forever, probably.
I was thinking about getting a tattoo. I'm not for tattoos, but I was thinking about getting like a staircase or something. Just something stupid on there.
It's a nice icebreaker, like story. Like everybody always asks about it, and then I can tell. I did mine in Australia. It's just it's a story.
Yeah, yeah. So grade 3 separation. My thumb. They told me I broke my back. Like had 3 cracked vertebrae. But they said that it might not be from this injury, which is interesting because when else could I have broken my back and not known it? So
I've heard of that being a thing before. Where they catch old injuries in an X-ray. Yeah,
it's not bad. Like it hurt obviously. Like it felt like I broke my back and I couldn't sit up.
Did you do ribs?
Yeah, I broke 2 ribs here.
So that could have been what?
And I broke 2 ribs here.
Oh, well that's why you couldn't sit up.
1 and 2. Yeah, it was more here that hurt.
Ouch. I mean, any ribs hurt. Was that your first time doing ribs?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, I've been in the hosptal before.
Okay.
I'm pretty injury prone.
Do you have other metal?
No, I've never had metal before. I fractured my kidney. Which, yeah, I know. That's just, you had the same reaction I had in the doctor's office. They said, yeah, it looks like you may have fractured your kidney. And I was like, what does that even mean?
I've never heard that in my life.
I was playing basketball in a gym and I went for like a layup.
Yeah.
And there was a bleacher, like those metal bleachers where the outside, you knock on them, doing.
Yeah.
I fell back and the corner of it I landed full body weight, like right here in the corner. And I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. That was bad.
Oh my God.
Yep, that was bad. I was peeing blood for.
So you went a little while before you went to the hospital?
No, I went immediately after. My mom. I couldn't even drive yet. I was probably 15.
So you knew as soon as you hit that bleacher,
I
you
knew
were smoked?
immediately. I had to hold my butt and like carry my right side of my body over to the corner of the gym.
Oh my God. What were you at, like gym, or were you on a basketball team? Or what was going on?
I was at a big community center, a Jewish community center. This is where I go to the gym.
Are you Jewish?
Nope.
Oh, solid.
They just have
So like a YMCA.
Yeah. They have a sick gym there. No one's ever in it. It's sick.
Cool.
So I would go there for the gym. But so me and my buddies would go to the gym and then go play basketball, because they have 2 humongous basketball courts. And where these basketball courts are, they're in the back corner of the...
So it's just a pickup basketball game with your buddies?
Just me and my buddies.
That's when the injuries happen, for sure. Super dangerous.
Yeah, I fell and I called my mom. I was like, you need to come get me and we need to go to the hospital, because
Fractured your kidney.
So
what did that mean?
I don't know. I still don't really know what that means.
The doctor was just messing with you?
he might have been, but no, that was bad. And when I did that, I immediately had to go pee immediately right after. Like I hit and I was like, oh, I have to pee. And I went and peed.
Whoa.
Blood everywhere.
Whoa, that's scary.
Yeah, that was bad. I broke this wrist snowboarding one time.
Oh, so these aren't even dirt bike injuries.
No. Man. This is no, it's not true. I really messed up my sternum, probably cracked my sternum one time, not wearing a chest protector at Ty's house. Blew out my forks, pre-Moto Academy, going on a track, just hitting a jump over a road. And, you know, you can envision what happened here. Yeah.
Just endoed it
full,
up?
And I didn't even have a crossbar pad.
Ah.
Metal triple clamp right to the sternum. Couldn't, like, look around. I was stuck. I could move. Like, it wasn't that bad. I didn't go to the hospital. But
sucks. Getting hurt hurts.
Sternum sucked. When I was 11, maybe, I cracked my growth plate in my shoulder. And my shoulder, even before I crashed, still slides.
Well, how'd you do that?
Baseball. I caught.
Man, I knew you were going to say baseball.
I caught and I pitched in the same season. So I was already throwing a lot. And that year, I fell out of a tree. Yeah, I was at...
What the heck?
I was at my friend's house for her birthday party, and there was like people around, and me and my idiot friend were like, let's go climb. It wasn't a big tree either, but it was like a little tiny tree in the side of their house. I was like, let's go climb it, 11-year-olds.
This will get the girls.
And I climbed it, and I tried to jump out from the top, and I looked down, and my shoelace, like the loop got caught on a branch, so it pulled my feet back, and I landed flat chested on the ground.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
what a dummy. Did anybody see it?
Everybody saw it.
Oh yeah.
It was hilarious, but it hurt a lot.
Oh.
And I remember almost throwing up after I was like, oh, it was bad.
Wow.
I didn't go to the hospital then.
And how old were you?
Maybe 11,
Oh,
12.
at the age too, we're like, just must have been so embarrassed.
Yeah, it was bad. That was
so okay. So you kind of like, you stunned yourself a little bit, hurt the shoulder a little bit, got it started.
I don't think, honestly, we don't know. Like, I remember one day I was pitching and I felt a crack. I was like, oh, and I was like, yo, coach, my shoulder hurts. I need to like stop pitching right now. And I was still young. Like I didn't think it was possible for me to break. So I was just like, whoa, yeah, my shoulder just hurts. I need a break.
But
and then
the one thing that made you realize it the most was one pitch. You were just like,
yeah,
oh, that wasn't right.
I threw and I was like, oh, that wasn't right. I was like, that really hurt. And I was like, hey, I need to put some ice on this. And then my coach was, I don't even remember what happened, but it was decided that I needed to go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. It was actually right around this time. It was right before I got out of school, maybe a week before I got out of school. And that whole summer, I couldn't play baseball. I couldn't throw. I couldn't ride a bike. I couldn't do anything with this arm because it's a growth plate. Like, you can't do anything for a growth plate, but you also can't do anything with a cracked growth plate. It'll screw your shoulder up. And I still experience shoulder problems. Man. And I think it's probably from that.
I had a baseball injury too. And I don't think it was even in a game that I was playing. I think it was at like my brother's game, and I was having a catch with like a little kid. I think maybe it was my little cousin, threw it over my head. So I turned around to like try to run to grab it, and I ran into a fence, broke my wrist. And I haven't had many, well, I always, when people ask me like, oh, you ride motocross, you must have been injured a lot. I'm like, my first instinct to answer that question is no. But then I start naming things, and next thing you know, I'm like
you realize,
10 items down the list, and they're like, what? He just said no. Why is he still going on this list of injuries?
Yeah.
I've had quite a bit of things, I guess, compared to the normal person. But
same.
The only surgery, I think, I've had arm pump surgery.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too.
I guess that, counts. ACL surgery. That's it. All the other things were not broken badly enough to need surgery. I've done both wrists.
Mm-hmm.
I've done fingers. I've done definitely ankles.
Yeah.
I haven't broken any legs.
Knock on that wood again, man.
Punctured lung twice, so broken plenty of ribs. Separated shoulder, so didn't need surgery on that.
This sucks though. How long did it take for you? Like,
I remember it feeling good quickly.
Yeah, I have range of motion, but I can't use it. Like, I don't remember. I find sleeping difficult. Like laying on my back hurts because it's pushing it this way.
I do remember that the day after I did it, I was in a sling and I was riding a BMX bike at the skate park, dropping into a bowl and like jumping out of the bowl
with one hand,
with one arm in a sling. The day after I did it.
That's smart.
I must have been on some pain med.
That's smart.
Yeah, super smart.
Yeah,
in Australia too, and many other things. I've hit my head a lot, also.
Yeah, I've only had one bad head hit, which was this one.
And you didn't even get knocked out cold on this one, you said? Or you don't?
I don't know.
Yeah, you could have been laying there for a few minutes for all we know.
Yeah. They shut the track down.
What was your first memory of
getting up?
Yeah,
you want me to tell the story?
Somebody collecting you. Yeah, sure.
So I remember coming out of the corner thinking, all right, I need to go a little quicker because I'm kind of lagging in this corner, and that should have been the do not jump this sign right there.
Yeah.
This was my fault, but I'd hit it so many times. I was like, whatever. I was like, let's just jump it. And so I remember being in the air and I got kicked this way a little bit. Like my back end got kicked to my left.
Yeah.
And I was like, it didn't seem that bad because I was in the air. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I was like, worst case scenario.
And this is coming out of a left-hander, by the way. So your back end, back end getting kicked to the left is not the way you want your back end to get kicked.
Yeah.
If you're coming out of a corner, if your back end gets kicked the way that you're already going, that's a much easier save.
Because it's fluid.
Because it makes sense. It's like a whip.
Yeah. And then
when it goes back the opposite way, that's never a good situation.
So I knew I was kind of screwed, but I didn't think I was not thinking gnarly crash at all. I was thinking like worst case scenario, I'll roll out of it. But I thought I was going to land on two wheels, push through and just like land like that and straighten out. I was like, drive my head forward, put my front wheel down, push through it, and I'll be fine. But I think I might have, I remember thinking all of that in the air. It was, I never like understood when people would say slow motion, but now I do.
Oh, totally.
Slow motion.
Yeah.
All of those thoughts in my head. I was like, okay, this is not that bad. I might be kind of screwed, but this shouldn't be too bad. I was like, I could save this. And I remember thinking, drive your head forward, put your front wheel down and try to push through that landing. But I think I frame cased a little bit. I might have frozen in the air. And I think I landed like, if this is the landing here, I might have landed like this, and it bounced me this way. And the second my wheels hit, it was turmoil.
Yeah. And I bet you that Stark probably reacts quicker and more violently than a normal bike too, right? It's heavier, it's got more power. So if like you try to get on the gas and it just like whipped you, the coming up short by even a couple inches is probably what did it.
Yeah.
Because my guess is that even if you got a pretty good kick, if you had downsided it or even overjumped it, probably could have been okay. But that one clip, that one little case that's what can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I remember being in the air thinking, this might not be bad. And then my next memory was, holy, I cannot breathe right now.
Oh, you woke up doing that? Or next memory was you trying to figure out your breath?
I told everybody in the ER I wasn't knocked out because I don't think I was. I definitely rung my bell for sure.
Sometimes it's hard to remember when you are and aren't because the crash itself can go blank whether you're knocked out or not.
I feel like the crash was violent and quick. Like I feel like I hit the ground real hard, like my body.
But immediately, it wasn't like it took a while.
No,
because some crashes go on forever.
Yeah, I think
sometimes I've been flying through the air upside down, like with my eyes closed. Just like, oh, okay, well, when am I going to hit the ground?
Well, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, that's not a very good feeling.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a scary memory.
You ever ride at Rocky Hill?
No, I've been there. My aunt used to live in Weathersfield, like right on that
I
long,
miss that place.
that long road. Like you come off the main road, you take a right off that main road there.
Yep.
Off was that 84?
Was
No,
it-
91.
It's like the Silas Dean.
Yeah. And then there's like that, like I said, that long road.
Yep.
She lived 2 minutes from the
Oh,
track.
man.
So
Yeah, that was a cool place. One day, I'll tell a quick story. I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before. It's kind of funny and it was horrifying at the same time. They had a jump called the 105. It was a 105-foot jump. At least that's what it got called. It would always change direction based on which way the track was going. It was awesome. It was huge.
he changed the track.
Yeah, so
like
you'd always flip
directions?
directions and...
He does that with New Hampshire now too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy kind of cheater way to just like change the track when everything else really stays the same. So that's what he would do. He would make changes to Rocky Hill a lot though, like really change things up, which I think is fun because I get bored of stuff quickly because you learn it so quick. A few of my friends are there watching right next to that jump, matter of fact. And it was going into the woods on this given day. So you would land and you would high speed, like third gear wide open, kind of like hit a sweeper and the woods would be like right there in your corner and a pond. I jump it, all is well. I land perfectly. There's a little mud hole. I hit the mud hole and it just does the most aggressive, quickest.
Was it like a hole or was it like just a
It was
puddle?
just a mud puddle.
Okay, it wasn't,
Wasn't
like a
even
hole
a
in
hole,
the track. Okay.
just a mud puddle, but it was just enough to like wash the front extremely quickly.
And then you caught the...
And then caught traction. So it did like a wah and then stood me up.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to be sweeping into the sweeper going super fast, but it stood me up and it also whipped my feet off. So now I'm heading straight towards the pond.
Straight rhythm style.
Feet off, going way, way too fast. And it stood the bike up straight up enough. And this was all happening so fast. I couldn't, the best thing to do in that situation would have been to like lay it over.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, now I'm in like high grass, knowing that there's a pond here and that there's drop down into a forest here. And like neither option's great. Pond would have been probably a better
Pond
one.
would be better. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, I tried to lay the bike down. I tried, but it didn't. And then it pitched me up. I hit something and just go like this, just flying W upside down. So the last memory there was eyes closed, flying through the air upside down, just like, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree. And I woke up, one of the situations, I don't know if I was knocked out. I think I was.
Yeah.
I woke up on the other side of a tree that was a huge field goal post, basically like a big Y.
You went through it?
My body went through it.
Your bike?
And my bike was pitched up upside down, stuck into the tree.
And nobody saw it?
When I hit the puddle on the landing, it splashed all of my friends. So they were busy dealing with getting splashed and trying to get the mud off themselves that they never saw me fly into the woods. So they went back to the truck.
Thinking that's where you were?
So I wake up in the woods, miracle, by the way, where my body flew.
Yeah.
Because I missed the tree. I went
you would've
through
been
the field goal post and my
hurt.
bike was in the tree. So I got so extremely lucky. But I wake up and then I'm like, I try to get my bike out. I like, no luck. Now I walk up out of the woods. Nobody's there. I'm like, is this a bad dream?
Like, am
or
I in
were they
heaven right
never
now?
here? Like what is going on? So I finally wave a couple of guys off the track. They help me get my bike up and out. All of this happens. Ride the bike back, dizzy and like out of it, back to the truck. And they're all sitting there hanging out. And I'm like, guys, what? Do you know what just happened? I was just dead in the woods and you had no idea. Oh. So that's the story. It's terrifying. And story of me and I have a couple more of those, like just the flying through upside down, waiting to impact something.
What were your thoughts during the infamous straight rhythm crash?
The straight rhythm one, at least I had control.
Yeah.
Didn't look like I had control, but
That's
I was
debatable.
still on the bike, so I still was making decisions the whole time. The straight rhythm one was a good example of like, to the eye, it appeared like it was taking 1 second for all of these crazy things to happen, but I had a million thoughts.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
The first thought was, I don't have insurance. I just turned 26. like I hadn't got my own insurance yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still would.
You can race without insurance?
Technically, probably not.
Because they check for that at NESC.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, probably not. But my first thought was, I don't have insurance. Don't let go of the bike. Right. So as soon as my feet got kicked up, my first thought was, don't let go of the bike. Because in some situations, it's better to, if your feet start going too high, to toss the bike and get away from it.
Yeah.
Like Roxon.
Yeah. And whoops.
Well, that, yes. But also when Roxon really messed himself up a few years ago.
I can't even watch that crash anymore.
That he should have, I need to watch the clip again to say for sure, but he could have let go of the bike, I think, earlier, and it would have been better, or not let go, period. I forget which one. But he let go at a not good time. So my first thought was like, don't let go. Then I had a bunch more thoughts once the feet, then I was like, spread my legs, because I've come down on the side of a bike before. And I knew that if I did that, I would have dragged it into the face or flew off the freaking,
or tore up your side with the foot peg.
Imagine if I went off the next jump wide open, hanging off the side of the bike, I would have just been ragdolling in the air. Oh my God, it would have been horrible. So I knew to spread my legs so that I could get both legs back where they belong.
Yeah.
And then once I whiskeyed off the next thing, there was a bunch of thoughts with that too, because you're still on the bike.
And the adrenaline is pumping.
When in crashing, this rug
bleeds
like a $2,500 rug. It's extremely expensive, but it falls apart when you step on it.
Yeah.
She's like, Iggy, it's just shedding a little bit. I'm like, Allie, the whole rug's falling apart. What do you mean it's shedding? Anyways, crashing sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Crashing sucks. We're an hour and 26 minutes in. Dude, nicely done.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I didn't think I could talk for that long.
They fly by.
Yeah.
They definitely fly by. I'm going to go take care of my baby now.
Yeah.
LaRusso number 778 in the 250 class on Saturday. My dad just texted me that. Shout out Tony LaRusso. Okay, Moto Academy podcast. Anything else you want to say to the podcast before we log off?
Join the Moto Academy.
Wow.
That's it.
Join the Moto Academy. How can they join the Moto Academy? Do you know?
TheMotoAcademy.com.
That was a trick question. Yes,
TheMotoAcademy.com. I almost said the club one.
No.
I typed that into my computer and it brought me to the old website. I was like, what is happening?
It still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still 900 people in the old app.
Wow.
I post in there frequently saying, hey, get out of the app, get in. Yeah. 900 people in the old app. And by the way, the developer's been taking all the money since November.
That's fair.
So they owe me
money.
Lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
You know, I was gonna bring the Stark plate that broke off and leave it here for the podcast.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I forgot it.
Oh, well, you can come back and do another one. Thanks for listening, guys, for the 2 people still watching, listening. Toodaloo.